was no hip hop. There was no hip hop songs that made the Billboard 100.
for the first time in a long.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be so many different reasons. It could be politics. It can just be that hip hop is dead. Nas already projected that like 10 years ago when he dropped Hip Hop Was Dead. That could be it.
Yeah.
It could be anything. But that's crazy to hear. I would have never guessed that would ever happen. Because
Yeah.
hip hop has always been so influential. I mean, it still is. It's gonna forever be influential. It's gonna forever, bust down doors for, certain opportunities. But that's crazy. I didn't even know that. That's hard to
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, it is. When I heard it, I was like, okay, I kind of can understand why. Because
Garbage out there, bro.
you had to say it, you know.
I said it's garbage out
You
there.
had to say it.
Music is crazy, man. It
Like
ain't like 90s hip hop.
nah. Whew,
Yeah.
that's a lot of balance and being a mother of 8 children and they all model, correct? I don't want to just say they're all modeling. So
Well, you know, we are a model family now.
yeah, you're my. So explain that to everyone because I know people that's watching heard you say it a couple of times. A model family. What explain what that's about to us?
We knew, I would like to say, a little over 10 years ago, 10 to 15 years ago, maybe, that we would all be models. We would just, the children have grown up in front of the camera. And I think there was a short time where my eldest daughter was like, I don't really want to be a model right now. I just want to be a designer or a photographer. She was behind the camera, right? And then when she hit 10, between 10 and 12 was when she was like, nope, I'm ready to model again. She jumped right back out. And the others, we never pushed them or pressured them to be in front of the camera. So whenever the camera be on, they just naturally they see what I do, or when they see us get in front of the camera, they want to jump in the camera.
Like explain what a negative energy would be.
Yeah, it's just like when you feel like, I don't know, like there is like a project we are working on, and I feel someone isn't really interested or isn't collaborative. The person is there just to, do the job and get money, and that's it. But there is no like genuine passion or interest, or there is no heart there. It's just like this, I guess, idea or goal, and that's it.
Hmm.
So, or there is something that a person has negative thoughts towards another person. So it feels like some people feel it more, some people feel it less.
Yeah.
But when it happens, I feel it, but I know how to, I guess, put it um, on a side and not be engaged into that.
Yeah, I could tell. And that's the thing is in your experiences that you've had over your lifetime is what tuned you into being able to tell what the negative energy is. That's why you can kind of gauge the different kind.
Like I just love to take pictures. I love to capture moments.
Yeah,
It's just
that's what it's all about right there, capturing moments.
yeah,
So I always used to say that back when people would ask me about it, like why you like taking pictures, and I'll tell them I love to capture a moment in time that's fleeting because nothing stays. And that that picture I take of that tree, that them leaves are not gonna be in that same spot ever again.
exactly.
That cloud's not gonna be there. That bird's not gonna be. That exact moment is never gonna repeat itself,
Nope.
no matter what we
Yeah,
think. And so when we
yeah,
capture these photos, we're pausing time and saving it.
that part. Yes, that's a great way to say it. Yes, the pause in time because that's exactly what we're doing, man. It's it's not everybody can do it. It's not just pushing a button. People always think like, oh, you just taking pictures. Like I can do it with my phone. Like, oh, show up, go ahead, bro. Like, do your thing, but you ain't gonna do this with your phone. I promise you that. Like, it's just not the same. I mean, and don't get me wrong, these phones are fabulous at taking pictures now, but it's not. It just doesn't have the same feel. It's different. It absolutely is.
If you had 30 seconds to tell, like 30 seconds to speak to the whole world and everyone had to listen, what would you tell the world in that 30 seconds?
I would say get to know yourself on a really deep level, and everything else will attract, you will attract everything that aligns with that, who you truly are. get to know yourself as far as, like I said, your likes, your dislikes, get more into your spirituality, like know yourself as far as get to know your astrology sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, your Venus, which is your love language, your Mars, which is your communication language. Like, just get to know yourself on a real deep level. Spend some time alone, and then you're going to attract the man that you want or the woman you want, the family that you want, the career that you want, just everything that aligns with that. But it comes with knowing yourself first and awakening your conscious. And that way you can just, attract everything that goes along with who you truly are. So I would say that.
Here, right there, as I hear you saying that your music message is giving people to feel that emotion of,
Mhm.
getting through it. Now, so do you feel that some of those things you said are things that you went through and it just naturally comes out when you're creating music?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that I'll be in my best bag when I'm like not, stuff just ain't great. You know what I'm saying? Whether, I'm down in a relationship or, family issues or whatever, life going on, money issues, whatever it is, when I'm like feeling real, real low, that's just when some of my best heat comes out. You know what I'm saying? That's when I was just locking in the studio, but like, yo, man, just pull up. You about to cook up. Just make something. You know what I'm saying? I got these beats. I got these melodies. Let's, come up with these lyrics. We're going to get this stuff out.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is probably the best way when it really, really comes out.
I'm gonna switch it up. I want to know, if you were a car, what car would you be, and what would be your name?
Oh my God, I have a name. um, I don't card. Wow, that's one of those questions that be like,
I had to hit you with one, some silly little fun one.
I keep it Rolls Royce, and I just
Okay.
love the luxury of a Rolls Royce. I love what it has to offer. Um, and I just think that not everybody can touch a Rolls Royce. Not everybody can sit at the table. And
I
that's what I
do.
kind of like is as far as like moving forward in life and how I see my future. Yeah, not everybody can sit with me.
Remember the word thought was like a big thing back in the day. It was like,
Oh yeah, I grew up with
that
the
hole
word
over there.
thought.
Yeah. So it was just basically girls going to from different, VIP section to another, and in reality, we're supposed to create our own section, and that's what you sound like, someone that wants to have your own section. You're in there celebrating with you and yours. What is it like being a man in today's world? With everything you're seeing, dealing with, society, politics, women, it all, race, everything.
I think individually, I think everyone is different when it comes to a man, depending on your background, your foundation, how you were brought up. It all depends on who you are as a man and what you think for yourself.
In the proposal, what would you rather have? Would you rather have an expensive ring or a small put together home?
A small put together. I mean, what's the line when with Cardi B and Lotto, they be like, if I gotta choose, like, no, I want both. I'm sorry. That's probably why I'm not married. You gonna give me a ring and we gonna get a nice home because it's like, I mean, like, hey, babe, like I can help get the home, like we a team. So give me my ring and we can work towards getting that home together. So no.
That's the answer right there. Okay, now tell me a story. What is the most bizarre thing that has ever happened to you, in entertainment?
Uh,
Don't hold back. This is for the people.
I mean, all right, all right, you asked.
Yeah, what a story.
This is an adult story, so I'm just,
Go ahead.
um, nah, I can't tell that story. I'll tell this story. I was performing with my band at this particular nightclub. I'll just say that. Um, Ironically enough, I had just finished performing a Marvin Gaye song.
uh, and I guess we were doing a really good job. And this beautiful woman came to the front of the stage and decided to show her appreciation for how well we were doing, and by
What?
revealing herself to the band.
It definitely, your music brings people together. And speaking of bringing people together, you run this thing called the Inner Circle. How did you, come up with that idea, and what was the whole concept behind that?
I'll tell you exactly how it started. I was on stage in Uganda with Eddie Kenzo. So shout out to Eddie Kenzo and all my friends in Kampala. He invited me to go and perform with him. And I've been a performer my whole life. Like I said, I've been in clubs since I was 14, New York City, London, Paris, Norway, even performing. Africa, I've been once before. But in 2022, Eddie Kenzo invited me to perform at Eddie Kenzo Festival, a 60,000 people performance. And Eddie really shared his light, like shared the limelight with me, and let me jump on his stage. And then when I came back to LA, I was like, something clicked in me, man. I couldn't just do my LA normal clubs. I needed to get more people like together with me. And it was really, I saw it as an opportunity to start Inner Circle as a place where, I'm able to perform, but also I allow other people to perform with me. And it's really, that's how it started. And Eddie Kenzo was one of the artists on the first night. Javohn, I wanted to give people, I'm like Eddie Kenzo does, and like other great artists that I work with do, they just naturally allow other people to flourish. So that's what I was hoping for. That's what started Inner Circle.
Nice. So it's like almost like a passing of the torch type thing, You're like someone put you on the stage and you're putting others on the stage.
But in film, you get several takes. Sometimes you get more takes than you want. But I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Okay, and people going to want to know this question here. How
did
it feel to get slapped by Redman?
Oh my God. And it was real, you know that.
What?
I played his mom on the video, slapped the shit out of you. Oh, it hurt. But I was like, okay, God, I think everything is preparing me for something else. I'm a domestic violence survivor. I have a book on Amazon, Family Matters. And I've been slapped before, and that was the only time.
Wow. What would you tell a writer who wants to give up?
Don't. I think sometimes you have to, you got to look at the whole perspective. Sometimes you got to change your perspective. Like I started, like a lot of people as an artist, and I did some cool things, but I never really got, my shot or where I was supposed to go. And that could be attributed to, a few things. Maybe, artist wise, I wasn't what was being sought out at the time. So
right.
I had to, switch gears. And then I started, I started writing and I started winning.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it depends on where you want to be. Not everybody is going to get that placement that's going to change their life. Then, your first placement is not going to be a Beyonce single. I mean, it could, but it's kind of tough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why you have to look at things like sync. You really got to figure out how to get to those people that you want to work with. My advice is you always got to work across the aisle instead of trying to work up the ladder. Like work across the aisle. Find a producer who you lock in with. Find an artist who you can lock in with and create a sound. But then once you create that sound, and the music gets out, if it's dope, people are going to ask who did it. And then you just rinse and repeat.
Now tell me, what does it take to have that type of attitude that you have? It's like such a go-getter attitude. And it's like the way that you control how you want your life to be.
I think that it's all about, I mean, it sounds cliche, but I think that the attitude all comes from a lot of confidence. And I think the confidence stems from one, just I was fortunate enough to have really great parents that really surrounded me with good quality people. Not everybody has that, so I know in the sense that I was fortunate, and also being extremely educated, like going to law school, all those things really build your confidence, and also having a great structure and foundation of friends and family. All those things are kind of the baseline of your confidence. As you know, so many people in Hollywood, they want to be into entertainment. They look beautiful, but they don't really have that self-esteem or that confidence. Even they might have 5 billion followers on Instagram, but they don't have like that self-esteem or that sense of self-worth. So I think that's where it stems from, is just having that superhuman confidence, kind of that showstopper attitude. But also, you have to, I think every person, another one of my favorite movies was Unbreakable. I don't know if you're a fan of the movie, but the idea that every person kind of has that superhero inside, and I really do believe that. I think a lot of people might not discover it, but I think once you kind of discover that superhero inside of you and that confidence, I think you can really accomplish anything. And that's how I've gotten these 7 movies done in the last 7 years.
Would you rather become the biggest movie star or the biggest music star?
Ooh, that is a hard one because, I've done acting myself, so I know
Okay.
the movie industry is like the acting industry is a whole vibe. Um, I would probably stick with like being a music artist.
Hmm.
Yeah. Just because I feel like you have a little more freedom and, as a music artist, you don't have to really change who you are. Like who you are is what makes you a music artist. So I would probably say that just because acting, you always like, a lot of actors, like, obviously they always have to be somebody else,
Yeah,
in the roles. Like you have to be somebody else. So like a lot of people don't truly know how the actors truly are as a person.
true.
So I feel like as a music artist, you have a little more freedom of being who you are. Like I said, who you are is what makes you a music artist. Like you have freedom of how, like your style, like things you can say, as in like in your songs. You have a little more control. I mean, I feel so far in my career, but the acting, like respect to actors, like it's hard. It's really hard.
You mentioned the word impostership, and that's rare. Rare. I've heard it before, but it's rare I hear it. And just thinking about that in the industry, in this entertainment industry that we're all in, how often do you run into that, where you feel that vibe, you're like, you know, th- this person fake, like they're imposter.
Well, it's so funny you say that because like when you look at other people, you don't get that impression. So I think it really just has to do a lot with ourselves being our own worst critic, right? Because we know what's up here, and people can only see one version of ourselves. So I really feel like, especially when I'm not really in my creative element, and let's say I'm at my job that I, work to pay the bills and stay alive,
Right.
when I'm not modeling, that's really when it hits.
Now, you only can eat one. You only can eat one for one whole year. Air fried, deep fried, or bake. Choose one and why.
Stop it, man. Stop it. Stop it. I don't, I'm not into air fried right now. I don't like air fried. I've had a few meals prepared by them, by it, but I really don't like air fried. I'll eat it, but I don't like it. I would have to say baked, more so because anything fried, you can't eat it often. You shouldn't eat it often because it'll eventually clog up your arteries and so on and so forth. So I try to stay away from that. I do love it, but I try to stay away from it. So I would have to say baked because, it's more natural, that you use the ingredients that you use and you know that it's cooked. You're cooking it yourself or you're ordering at a restaurant. It's all good. But yeah, baked, it would have to be baked.
Okay, that's a good answer. Tune in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Keep them comments coming too. Have questions for me to ask on the next episode. You know?